Good afternoon. My name is Michael Dowry, and I have the pleasure of serving as receiver for the city of Chester. Today is Tuesday, June 11th, 2024, and we are gathered here for the Municipal Financial Recovery Advisory Committee meeting, MFRAC. On behalf of the city of Chester, we are honored to be in the presence of Mayor Roots. Good afternoon, sir. Yeah, he's there just on mute.
Here I am. Hi.
Good afternoon, sir. And also on behalf of the governor's office and DCD, we are joined by Mr. Andrew Sheaf. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right. And on behalf of Delaware County Council, Ms. Kelly Diaz. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Kapoor, as always, joins us on behalf of my team, City Receiver, Chief of Staff. Good afternoon. And we have a relatively brief agenda here, but we're going to jump right in. Cody Deal did circulate the agenda and the public comment. To my knowledge, there was no public comment received directly through the formal channels. Quite a bit of feedback on the last meeting chat, if you will, on Facebook, but nothing formal for the committee. Is there anything at this time that the committee would like to address? All right, so then we'll skip to an update from Mr. Kapoor.
Thank you, Mr. Receiver, and thank you, members of the committee and the public. My name is Vijay Kapoor, serving as the Chief of Staff to the Receiver. What I have for you today is just a brief update regarding the document request and filing that the Receiver made in bankruptcy court regarding the Stormwater Authority of Chester. Those of you may remember last week, there was a court hearing date upon which the court was going to rule regarding the receiver's motion. A few hours before that hearing, pleased to say that the Receiver's Counsel and Counsel for the Stormwater Authority were able to reach an agreement regarding the handover and turnover of documents and information that was approved by the court. What I'm going to do just really quickly here is to share with you and show you the agreed upon order that was signed by the bankruptcy judge, and just talk very briefly about what it says and what the next steps are. First off, in terms of the actual documents, the Stormwater Authority agreed within 30 days to provide all the documents and information that the receiver has requested. So that's 30 days following the entry of the interim order that was filed on June 7th. And so to the extent that the Stormwater Authority does not have this information that was requested, they will acknowledge that, and they will need to disclose that to us, and we found that to be important. So that's within 3 days. Yes.
Excuse me, would you mind, could you zoom in to make the text the width of the screen?
Let me see if I can. Better?
Much better. Thank
Okay.
you.
Sorry, everybody. Let me see. Can I get one more here? There we go. So this is within 30 days following the order. Again, we can all documents and information the Stormwater Authority has agreed to provide. The only information that the Stormwater Authority had agreed to provide sooner, within 7 days of the interim order, so that should be by this Friday, is the Stormwater Authority will deliver to the city a list of all the current board members, and for each board member provide their corresponding position, their titles, their date of appointment, and their annual salary or other compensation paid by the Stormwater Authority. Regarding depositions, should the city elect to proceed with depositions, this provides the process by which we would proceed on that. The city and the Stormwater Authority agree that any deposition shall take place in the city of Chester at a mutually agreeable location, date, and time. Stormwater Authority reserved its right to object to such depositions. Basically, except for the agreements and obligations set forth herein, the interim order is entered without prejudice to the Stormwater Authority's objection, and all the parties retain all rights and arguments with respect thereto. Again, it was signed by the judge, by Judge Chan, on June 7th. The final thing that I will note here is the agreement was also to continue the hearing. So we were set to have a hearing on June 5th. The hearing is continued, which means it's in effect, it's postponed until July 24th. Hopefully, if all goes well, we will not have to have that hearing. But if it doesn't, we will. So again, we're happy with this progress. We're looking forward to receiving the information from the Stormwater Authority. And now we have a court order that indicates the agreement to turn over this information. So wanted to, again, inform the committee on this, inform the public on this. Happy to answer any questions that the committee may have as to where we are right now with this document request.
Mr. Kapoor, Mr. Receiver, just one question. And I think you've said this a few times, but the Stormwater Authority has agreed to provide this information in court, and this document went over, just sort of puts that in writing.
That's correct. Yes, this was an agreement, and this was a negotiated agreement as between the receiver's bankruptcy counsel and the Stormwater Authority's bankruptcy counsel. And interestingly, the court was about to rule. Last week we were all at the hearing, and again, we were able to avoid that. But again, if for some reason we're not able to, then we'll be back in court in July.
Thanks.
I understand they had a board meeting this morning to deal with some reorganization issues. Would that information be included, or with discovery, or was the line drawn in the sand that the information that you're seeking had to have come prior to the decision?
No, Mayor. The request we have is continuing. It's not something that we're only looking at from a date certain in the past. If the Stormwater Authority took action that relates to the information that we requested, we would expect that to be part of whatever's turned over. And if it's not, we'll ask about it.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. I was not aware of that. Any other questions from the committee on this?
Well, thank you, Mr. Kapoor. Thank you to the committee. We will continue to keep the committee apprised of the progress we make over the next 45 days. And as Mr. Kapoor shared, hopefully we don't have to go back to court, but that all depends on how this process goes. So more to come. A brief update from me. I would like, Mr. Kapoor?
I'm sorry, Mr. I had one more just update for the committee, if that's
Please.
This is regarding negotiations with the bargaining units. We've had a couple of questions about the status of where the negotiations are with the various bargaining units. And without getting into the details of those negotiations, we wanted to let both this committee as well as the public and interested parties know that negotiations have started with all the bargaining units. Obviously, the key issue regarding economic terms is what the city could receive from monetization of its assets. Since that has not been completed, we're in somewhat of a difficult spot because obviously we cannot agree to a compensation package that the city cannot pay for. So we're continuing to move forward with the negotiations. You can kind of see how all of this process kind of is related to itself, even though different things are happening at different times. At the end of the day, in order to get a full plan, a lot of different planes have to land. And it's important that everybody realize that everything is dependent on everything else. So wanted to, again, to be honest and upfront with the public, with the bargaining unit members, and with any interested party that, again, the talks are continuing to move forward, but it's somewhat difficult to be able to reach economic terms when you've got a significant aspect of a matter that's not complete yet. So just wanted to provide that to the committee and provide that to people who might be interested in asking questions. And that's all I have, Mr. Receiver.
So thank you, Mr. Kapoor. Continuing on, I'll share a few brief updates and open it up for any questions or concerns before we break. I want to report that the new CFO, Mr. Troutman, is settling in well with the city. Publicly thank the finance department for working through the transition and continuing to make progress. They've laid out a pretty clear plan and a process by which they'll go about achieving their overall goals. Monthly closeout is what they're working on now for the month of May. As it being their first, it's of course going to be rocky, but the only way to get better is to keep trying and keep building, keep at it. They're making progress on integrating the payroll system to the financial system, ADP to Edmunds. So you can see the building blocks coming together. So a huge thank you to the finance department for taking the challenge head on, building out the chart of accounts on both sides of it, and really doing accounting, I'll say 101, if you will. It's nothing, it's not big, large deals, debt service or what have you, but it's the basic building blocks that we all need moving forward. So I really thank them for their progress. Also want to acknowledge as we transition from council members serving as department heads, there's the need to bring in the management to run the departments, and those qualified professionals keep coming in along with Mr. Troutman and Mr. Leitner. Mr. Leitner continues to build out his team as chief of staff. Recently naming 3 critical hires for a director of the community and economic development, overseeing codes and bringing that in with planning. There's a new planner coming. The city's most recent planner retired at the end of 23. And then there's the public works director. So 3 critical hires that should be starting in the month of July. So we're really excited about the progress that's being made there. There are still a number of critical positions that are open. Actively, of course, recruiting for the police department. I think we're trying for another civil service exam in the month of August. So hopefully we get that scheduled soon, but I want to continue to remind everyone of the vacancies and continue to search online. Mayor Roots, if it's not overstepping my bounds, I want to encourage people to look at the boards and authorities and consider filling out an interest form there. I know the applications are available in City Hall at the front desk. Are they also available online, sir?
Believe that, yes.
Okay. Would you mind if we also shared it on our website as well?
I'll make sure you get the link.
Oh, appreciate it. And just a general reminder to the public that always available for community engagement. Attended a pretty nice community meeting about a week ago today. But always looking forward to those kind of gatherings. So please feel free to reach out. Mr. Dale's not here to make the usual plug, but info@chesterreceivership.com or www.chesterreceivership.com are the best ways to get in contact with us, and we'll set something up right away. Are there any questions from the committee? Well, again, we want to thank you for coming out. As always, we're available to answer and yield to any questions that you may have. We're going to break for today and reconvene on June 25th at 1 p.m. Thank you.